Hey guys, Darth Lord here, back with part 5 of our Highway of Blossoms playthrough. So, last time, what the heck did we do last time? Right, last time we went to the Grand Canyon, and we explored, and we bonded, we had a moment, it got interrupted by frickin' Mariah, and she ruined the moment, and it was super, super disappointing. And then, we got started heading for Arches National Park, and then Amber and Marina had this super awkward talk with Jumbo, the truck driver, and man, he was just super awkward. But anyway, and he had just the most cringiest pickup lines you ever saw in your life. And then we actually made our way to Moab, and so we are just right outside of Arches, and that's where we left off, man. So, lots of good progress. Now, also, sorry about the lack of Fallout 4 episode yesterday. It was funny, though, because I had been joking in my video, like, assuming, like, you know, I don't have this crazy bout of laziness in the next 10 minutes or whatever. And then it's funny because something actually came up, like, not very long after that. And so I actually couldn't record until very late. I couldn't edit anything until very late that night, and I didn't have time for any kind of recording. So it's just funny, the timing, the way that worked out. But, again, to my knowledge, today should be normal. So, you know, here's hoping. Anyway, so we can go ahead and launch right into it and continue right where we left off. Now, if you guys recall, we are in the diner. Amber and Marina are in the diner, and they just had some I think they're having breakfast now. And they had this cute little moment. Marina was coloring, and Amber was being like super salty because she's like an adult and chocolate milk's for kids or something. And you know, I mean, you know, more of the same. Anyway, let's go ahead and continue where we left off. I finish about half of my meal before the dismay sets in. There's no way I can possibly finish this. Most people I know couldn't eat this much food in one sitting. Every bite is a struggle. Marina's faring similarly. Her plate of eggs is nearly untouched just because there's so much pancake to work through. And I can tell that pancake fatigue, that feeling when you get halfway through them and you realize you're sick of pancakes, has long since set in for her. She cuts off a bite, looks at it for a while, then sets her fork down.
I think I'm done.
Yeah, you and me both.
The largest plate I have consists of a mass of potatoes, cheese, and bacon with the eggs laid over it. And then, of course, there was the toast, fruit, and sausage, which each got their own smaller plate. I'd have ordered from the kids' menu, too, if I had known this is how it would be.
I don't think I'll ever want pancakes again.
What a lightweight. What a lightweight, man. Pancakes are amazing. For once, I don't have any snarky remarks. Anyone would be sick of them after what she went through.
We'll get some boxes to go. At least we'll have food for a week now if we ever get stranded.
After our waitress brings us our bill and styrofoam containers, we head back out to the RV. It looks like traffic hasn't gotten much better in the 45 minutes that we've been out of it. Cars are still pressed bumper to bumper. The sidewalks are still full, with swarms of pedestrians making better time than the traffic. I wonder if it's always this busy or if people are just deciding not to drive. It's not usually that busy, Moab, at least on foot. There's a lot, if like, you know, during like vacation season, there's a lot of traffic, but not like, you know, swarms of people type of traffic. Once we're ready to go, I take us over to the edge of the parking lot. As expected, the constant stream of cars makes it impossible for us to get out. I watch impatiently for an opening in traffic, but can't see one for miles.
Oh, come on!
I press my forehead to the steering wheel. We've been sitting here for minutes now.
Is there another exit we could use? Onto a different street?
I look and check the mirrors, but don't see anything. The edges of the diner's property are surrounded by a cream-colored fence.
Nope.
Marina begins to sigh, but that quickly turns into a sound of surprise.
Amber, look!
She points past my face and out the window. An older lady in a little hatchback sedan has stopped to let us out. The two of us wave at her as we finally lumber onto the road itself.
Yay! I'm glad somebody was nice at least.
It's true.
Yeah, still a long way to go, though.
The long line of cars extends as far as I can see, before it finally goes out of sight around a bend in the road.
Why do you think it's so much busier here than the other places we've been?
Arches is one of the most popular national parks. Like, when you think of parks in the US, you think of Arches and the Grand Canyon and Yosemite, and that kind of thing. So I think a lot of people will be at those big spots.
Think it'll be like Shiprock again?
Probably.
What, with the megaphone and law enforcement?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. Probably not. These parks are a lot bigger and more spread out. Way harder to have people watching. The only option would to be straight up close.
And then you have horrible people who sneak in and out of bounds anyway.
Yeah, what must that be like?
Yeah, exactly. Who would ever do
Okay,
that?
I swear I'm not doing this on purpose. Amber keeps saying like the same things I am right after I say it. I swear it's not that I played this game and memorized the dialogue or something. Alright, it's just really funny coincidence.
Nobody we know, that's for sure.
It's okay. Once we're filthy rich, we can make a donation to the canyon or something.
Let's just buy the canyon and pay to have everything reconstructed.
Perfect.
It takes a while, but we finally make it past all the stoplights. After that, it's still slow going, but at least it's steady. Maybe 15 minutes pass crawling through town before things start to pick up. Still a couple miles away, I can finally see the exit for the park itself. Some people continue past, staying on the highway, but most are in line for arches. At least there's a whole lane of people like us. Traffic is congested like my nose in winter, but the end is in sight.
May as well get comfy. We're gonna be here a while.
Taking my advice, Marina leans back and props her feet up on the dash. Her dress bunches up at her knees, leaving most of her legs exposed. I sneak a few guilty glances from the corner of my eye. If I didn't know better, I think that all that skin she shows was intentional, but it's Marina, which means she's not even conscious about this stuff. Or me, for that matter. I wonder if she knows that I'm into her. To distract myself, I grabbed the box of tapes. I kept the music off earlier so that Marina could sleep.
Wanna pick this time?
Sure.
Setting it in her lap, she begins to rummage through the bin. I'm pretty sure that she knows all the music I have by now. We've listened to every tape at least once, and I have an okay feel for what she likes and what she doesn't. Sometimes she taps her fingers to the beat or hums along when she likes what we're listening to. If she doesn't, she flat out ignores it. The one she settles on is an album of instrumental folk songs, very stereotypical Western sounding. It's a little high energy for just sitting in traffic, but that's alright, it's better than nothing. We just listen to the music, which I've cranked up loud while we wait. The album is nearly half over by the time we finally make it through the park gates. Beyond them, traffic mercifully lets up some. Not because there are fewer cars, there are more cars than rocks to be seen. But a lot of these are pulled off on the shoulder or cramped into parking lots. Nearly every inch of pavement that doesn't have a car on it has a person instead. Also, there are different trails and folks in the road, so not everyone is going in the same direction now. Being able to drive without having to tap the brakes every couple seconds is a relief. A pickup truck towing a trailer pulls off the shoulder ahead and back onto the road, so I take his spot. Putting it in park, I take a swig of stone cold coffee. That is disgusting.
Wanna grab the pamphlets?
We snagged a couple of brochures back at the diner. They don't have a whole lot of info, but they're a starting point. Marina trees them and spreads them out on the table like puzzle pieces. Alongside them is the journal. Its spine has lost all strength and the pages just flop around.
So, the journal says that it's buried between two things.
Right, but something out of the way.
Peering out the windshield into the expanses beyond, there is a lot that could be considered out of the way.
It'd have to be something memorable. Or else he'd come back and have no idea where to go.
It's true.
And anything memorable is probably gonna be something popular, right?
Exactly, yeah.
That's pretty sound logic. I can get behind that. She flips through some of the pamphlets. They all have the same information on the same landmarks, just with slightly different pictures.
Wait,
She was about to toss one of them, but it catches my eye.
hand me that.
Marina passes over the brochure, and I turn into one of the inner pages. It has only one picture and a longer paragraph of text I read aloud.
One of the most famous landmarks in all of the park, Double Arch is a fan favorite. Recognizable for its two elegant curves. Double Arch can be accessed via...
Okay, I didn't click that, I swear. Oh, it backtracked. Well, there's even more proof.
One of the most famous landmarks in all of the park, Double Arch is a fan favorite. Recognizable for its two elegant curves. Double Arch can be accessed via a short hike and is open to exploration.
Hey, there you go. They didn't freak out that time. I hold up the flyer so that she could see the picture. It's of two huge arches of stone connected at one side but otherwise perpendicular from each other. She snatches it out of my hands for a closer look, nearly cutting my fingers.
Oh my god, you think it's between the two of these?
That makes sense, right? You definitely remember how it looks. And it's kind of out of the way.
The papers whiz past my face as Marina hurls them backwards and she points forward.
Choo-choo, full steam ahead.
I throw the RV back into drive and pull out onto the road again. There are signs everywhere for Double Arch, so we don't need the map that we got at the gate. We pass signs for other landmarks too, some with pretty weird names. There's the Parade of Elephants for one thing, which is in the same direction as Hamrock. There's even a phallic-sounding rock simply called the Organ. All of those are down exits we don't take. Instead, we soon end up in the back of yet another traffic jam. Marina stares out the window as we creep along. Where we are right now is nearly indistinguishable from the highways we've spent so much time on. There are a few actual arches ahead, around, but none distinct enough to get any real attention. Inch by inch, we advance down the road until we finally come to the parking lot for Double Arch. Only problem is, it's totally full. Not just busy, but packed. Every parking spot is taken, with a few cars jammed into empty space that's clearly not meant for that. Like lice, people swarm up and down the arch itself, visible even from the road. At least this time it isn't off limits.
Looks like everyone else had the same idea.
Don't sound so glum. We can still go take a look.
If we can ever find somewhere to park.
Yeah, that is a pretty big if.
A very big if. The entire caravan passes by the parking lot. There's at least a dozen cars behind me, too. Maybe a half mile up the road we come across another lot.
Up for a bit of walking?
Yeah.
I quickly take one of the remaining spaces. There are a few openings here. Looks like most people weren't as willing to walk as Marina is. Some of the cars behind us pull in too. We opt to leave the metal detector and other equipment in the RV for now. If we don't see anything that looks promising, we can come back or if we see anything that looks promising, we can come back and grab it. The walk up to Double Arch doesn't take long, and it's nice to be outdoors again. We have to stick to the very edge of the road to avoid the stream of cars flowing towards us. Seems there was more than a dozen behind us after all. There's a short hike from the Double Arch parking lot to the arch itself. It's an easy one, and we don't even break a sweat. Up close, it's obvious that there aren't many people here just to see the sights. Almost everyone is carrying a shovel or other tool. There's a pair of park rangers watching, but they don't seem to be intervening at all. They just slouch against a wooden fence looking defeated.
Can you imagine how big of celebrities we'd be if anyone here knew we found this shipwrecked treasure?
I whisper as quietly as I can to Marina.
Right? I was thinking about that earlier. I kinda wanted to show off, but that's probably not a good idea.
I agree.
Like anyone would believe us anyway. But you don't want to have your face all over the New York Times as one of the girls who found the treasure?
Being in the local newspaper is on my bucket list.
Dream big, Marina.
And my friends from school would totally have a heart attack when they found out. But don't they always say to keep it a secret if you win the lottery?
Too real.
Yeah. Otherwise, people will never leave you alone. You'll get all sorts of messages from people you used to know or long-lost relatives.
Yeah, if I won the lottery, it would be very subtle. Like, nobody would know. Like, my family would know, but otherwise, probably no one else. I certainly wouldn't advertise it.
I have enough not lost relatives to deal with. Plus, I don't want to get kidnapped and held for ransom or something like that. What about you?
No way. I'm just gonna quietly retreat into one of my 3 mansions when all this is over.
Atta girl, Amber.
Oh, you're only gonna buy 3?
Yeah, gotta save the rest for my 14 new motorhomes after all.
She giggles.
Do I get to drive one of them?
Why not? But you could buy your own, you know.
No way! I'll just come bother you if I need one.
We've gotten as close as to the arches as we can. The mob of sweaty people is too thick for us to push our way through. There are dozens of people sweeping over the dusty ground with metal detectors. Hanging back around the edge, Marina's smile fades quickly away.
Yeah, this is a bit of a mess.
People jostle and push each other out of the way. It's hard to believe anyone is actually prospecting so much as they are just trying not to lose their spot.
Maybe we should come back later?
I don't know if it'll be any better later, but maybe.
I guess. Though if the treasure is here, I feel like someone would have found it by now.
Just like back at Canyon de Chelly.
You know, this must have been going on for a few days now.
Yeah.
All the enthusiasm she had just a minute ago where we were joking around has evaporated in the desert sun. A rock skips past my foot as she kicks at the dirt. I poke her and she yelps in surprise.
Hey now, I'm not saying we give up. I'm just saying we regroup and strategize. We can go see the rest of the park in the meantime. Didn't you say you've wanted to see this place for a while?
Yeah, I guess.
It's obvious that she's still bummed, but there's nothing I can do about that. Once we're back on the motorhome, we leave the busy main road ASAP and spend a while seeing the sights from our new air-conditioned comfort. And not new, but our air-conditioned comfort. Marina's mood improves steadily throughout the day, counteracted only by our growing hunger. As we pull back into Moab, we're both ravenous.
Wanna just heat up our leftovers? Guessing that's a no.
I'm not ready for pancakes again yet. I need a day or maybe a week.
Let me know if you see somewhere you want me to stop.
Now that it's approaching evening, there aren't any more massive traffic jams going through Moab. We can cruise through at a steady pace, just like when we first got to Arches. Until I slam on the brakes.
You're kidding me.
Marina has been slouching, but bolts up right at the sudden stop.
What happened?
Just a few feet ahead, in the parking lot of the diner we ate at this morning, is Mariah's motorhome.
Look at that. It's them.
I point and Marina leans forward. When she recognizes their RV, she grins.
Should we go see them?
What? No way! That's extra reason to avoid that place.
But Amber, maybe we could see about teaming up for the treasure here or something.
Mariah would rather, light herself on fire.
That'd never happen.
See?
Mariah would rather lose every time than have our help.
See? What did I just say? Man, Amber and I are on the same wavelength, and I swear, it's not like I've memorized the dialogue and I'm, purposely timing anything, or I am not that coordinated.
Besides, it's not like...
Please.
Already giving up in my head, I give Marina one last desperate look.
Seriously?
Yeah, even if we don't team up, it'd be nice to see them again.
Not sure if nice is the word I'd use.
Despite my muttering, I flick on my blinker and change lanes, pulling into the parking lot yet again. Ah, it is a small world after all. Like this morning, it seems pretty busy. I have to park next to Mariah's RV because it's the only open spot large enough. Marina skips out and towards the entrance while I trudge behind her. It doesn't take long to find the trio. Even amongst all the energetic people that the hunt has drawn, their questionable fashion sense stands out. I will say this, though, it shouldn't be that surprising to see them here. She did tell them that she thinks it's in Arches, so it's not that surprising to see them here. They have a large table near the back, bigger than the one Marina and I ate at this morning. Joseph and Tess share a bench, while Mariah spreads out across the opposite side. It's probably supposed to look sultry, but it comes across more like the bench is devouring her. When she sees them, Marina scurries to the back, hand raised in greeting. I bring up the rear, still slow.
Hey, guys!
Tess and Joseph both wave, the latter smiling when he sees us. Mariah looks surprised for a second, but then scowls and turns towards the wall. The feeling is mutual.
Hey, imagine running into you two here. Just get into town?
Nope, we've been here all day. We actually ate breakfast at this place this morning.
Yeah, you're always a couple steps behind us, I guess.
Yeah, I couldn't resist, Amber. Couldn't resist. Mariah's glare is stonier than Double Arch itself, but of course she keeps looking at the wall instead of us. Joseph laughs, though.
Here, let's break bread.
He and Tess scoot down the booth, making some room, which Marina promptly fills. It's like she knows. It's like she knows. She's like, hey, you want to know what's going to be a great idea? How about we sit you right next to Mariah? You're like, why is that a good idea? That's a horrible idea. Clearly these two are like gasoline and fire. It's a bad plan. Anyway, I'm left next to the smoldering fury that is Mariah. She moves her leg just a little, but enough for me to sit down.
Thanks. Sorry to barge in on you guys like this.
It's no problem. More the merrier.
I hope you don't expect us to cover your bill.
Groaning, Joe puts his hands over Tess's ears.
Would you at least try not to be a pain in the ass between the hours of 5 p.m. and 6 in the morning? It would make my life a lot easier.
I like how he always covers Tess's ears. He's like, I don't want you to hear this. I must, protect your innocence. He uncovers Tess's ears and gives us a blank look.
She's right, though. There's no way we can afford that.
We had to dine and dash for breakfast.
So what about you? How long have you been here?
We got in around lunchtime. Spent forever and a half stuck in traffic, though.
He sounds worn out. I wonder if Mariah ever lets him drive or makes him.
Us too. We were gonna look around Double Arch, but it was too busy.
Yeah, we took one look at it and just kept driving. Didn't even want to try it.
Sis said anyone who bothered to get out was a fuck.
Yep, the big surprise there.
I told you, this girl hears everything.
He's like, why do you think I cover her ears all the time?
Anyway, we were thinking about heading back this evening. See if it maybe cleared out some.
We were gonna do that too. I was telling Amber that we should see if maybe you guys wanted to team up and we could look together.
Hell no.
There, you see that? There you go. At least they're unanimous on yet something else. You know, my first thought would be like, why bother even looking at Double Arch? Like, I'm just thinking, because there's like a million people crawling all over it with metal detectors and tools, and like, if it was there, you really don't think that like you guys are going to be the one team to happen to find it and everybody else happened to miss it? Just on a percentage basis, I feel like that it would make more sense to go find like between two of something else, merely because of the amount of people that have been crawling all over their first guess. You know what I mean? I would try something else just based upon principle. The two of us look at each other. It seems all we ever agree on is not sticking together.
No offense to you, Joe. Just didn't want to, you know.
Be stuck with Mariah. I trail off trying to think of an excuse that didn't want to deal with Mariah, which is the truth. But Joseph just laughs and waves it off.
Nah, I get what you mean. Don't think Mariah would be too fond of splitting the goods either.
That one is Marina. Marina frowns, but perks up after just a second. Soon, a waitress comes to take our order. Marina and I are careful to order meals on the smaller side, just sandwiches with fries. On the other hand, Mariah's order comes with a bunch of requirements as to what can and can't be put on it. By the time she's made so many substitutions and extras, it hardly resembles the item described in the menu.
So, I can tell you ladies that it's not at the Parade of Elephants, and Delicate Arch was a no-go too. Think we might try Skyline next.
Good luck, I guess. I wonder how many of those the miner would have known about, though. Pretty sure this park wasn't founded till after the gold rush.
Well, see, and I think that's probably the biggest problem, is because if the park was founded until after the gold rush, then obviously none of this is any, like, they weren't landmarks yet. Like, people would have named them, oh yeah, that's Delicate Arch, oh yeah, that's Double Arch and stuff, you know what I mean? So if it wasn't named yet, then like, do we even know where he was coming from? Like, which direction he was traveling? Like, where he was what part of the ground he was walking on? Because like, out of the way for him might have been completely different for out of the way for what's established today. Like, obviously there weren't like paved roads at the time, so like, you know, he was just on a horse. Like, so who's to say what was out of the way? Like, I don't know. I feel like that it's like, you know, trying to find a needle in a very, very large haystack. It just seems like such a long shot. Like, you have no way of knowing even where he was. Joseph shrugs.
Amber knows a lot about these places. She's like an encyclopedia.
I can feel my face flush like always when she praises me.
Not really. I just know bits and pieces.
Still, something to be proud of. Aren't too many girls your age who care about anything that happened more than 5 years ago.
That's fair.
It's really nothing special. I just spent a lot of time on the road when I was younger.
That's so.
Don't go into it. Don't go into it. I appreciate his leaving it as an open-ended question rather than prying. Marina looks at me, eyes wide, probably to see if I'm about to cry or something. I try to be nonchalant.
Yeah, until I was in middle school. My grandpa used to drive me all over the country.
I wouldn't have even gone that far. I would have left it so open-ended.
Sounds like a fun time.
It was.
Too far, Amber. Amber! Amber, stop it! Guess there's no point in hiding it. Plus, Joseph has this kind of disarming air to him. Oh, sorry. Did you know right-clicking opens the menu? I didn't. Anyway, like he exudes calmness. Woman, Amber, stop, like, derail, please.
Passed away a little while ago. Still a little.
You shouldn't have gone into this. I tap my throat, hoping that gets my point across. It does. Joseph nods.
I'm sorry for your loss. I know how hard that can be.
Thanks.
Marina's eyes flick between me and Joseph. She must be pretty worried, so I force a smile, even though I can feel the growing glumness that shows up anytime I talk about Gramps.
Meeting this dork has helped a lot, though.
There you go. There you go. Change the topic. I jerk my chin towards Marina, who looks shocked, as if I could have been talking about anyone else.
It's been a while moping around before that.
Family is good.
I blink. It's so easy to forget she's there.
Yeah, definitely.
I hadn't really thought about it before, but Tess seems to be in a similar situation I was, growing up on the go and all. I'm curious how it happened, but I won't ask. It's not my place. A far-off look seeps into Josie. Sorry. A far-off look seeps onto Joe's face. He stares out the window like he's gazing at something 100 yards away. Mariah glances up at him for a split second, if that. She even looks a little concerned, but then it's right back to business as usual. She leers over at me and shoves herself back into the conversation.
So what are you going to do?
Huh?
When all this is over?
She gestures around.
Dinner?
No, dumbass! I meant the treasure hunt! Forget it. I don't actually care.
Don't know yet. Mare and I have been kind of talking about that.
She's gonna buy 3 mansions.
Yeah, that. I'll have plenty of time to figure stuff out in my mansions.
There you go. Three of us chuckle, but then the conversation trails off. Tess and Marina are working on coloring Tess's menu. From what I can see, it has different characters than the one this morning. They look like they make a good team. Each of them work on separate pictures, but switch from time to time. So Marina will color the hair on one character, then Tess colors the clothes. Despite not talking at all, they don't ever get in each other's way. Joseph also observes from above, smiling slightly. He's usually the one to play with Tess, so it must be nice for her to have some company. On the other hand, like a jug of milk, Mariah's mood seems to be getting more and more sour. I don't even know what she's mad about this time. Maybe something happened before we showed up, or maybe it's because we showed up. Either way, she ought to have memorized every single detail of the wall she's been staring at the entire time. She doesn't look up until our food arrives a little bit later. It's a good thing we have a large table, because there's hardly any room left once all the plates are down. See what I mean? Doesn't matter how big your table is, it's always full. My sandwich is so big it takes 2 hands to hold, and I have enough fries to sustain Ireland for the winter. That's a lot of fries. When Marina picks up her sandwich, all the ingredients pour out the back. She quickly gives up trying to reconstruct it and just uses a knife and fork instead. Watching the other 3 eat is amusing too. Joseph chews with slow, measured bites, whereas Mariah attacks her meal like it owes her money. That is such a great description. I've always thought that was such a funny way to describe anything. Across from her, Tess is cutting up chicken tenders with surgical precision. Marina, not Mariah, Marina catches me staring and smiles at me covertly. Seems she's noticed too. Mariah's the first to finish eating. I'm just a couple bites behind. That's embarrassing. She wipes her face with a napkin, then finally looks at me.
Where are you two staying?
It could have been an innocent question, or it could be a trap.
Around. We'll find a parking lot somewhere.
You thieves are gonna have a late start then.
I guess. Don't tell me you planned ahead and got a campsite.
Don't be stupid. Of course not. Like, that's not what I meant.
Don't be stupid. Of course I didn't plan ahead. I scoff as she backtracks to keep from insulting herself.
What I mean is, there's no way they're gonna bother checking every single permit. There's too much going on right now.
She's banking on the chance that they don't notice.
Just pick a nice spot out of the way, don't make trouble, and it'll be fine.
Joe flatly stares at Mariah.
Easier said than done.
Good luck with that. I don't want to take the risk.
On foot, if you're trespassing and get caught, most of the time you'll just get thrown out. But I don't want our license plate getting written down or something if we were to do what she suggests. Man, that's hard with a stutter. Mariah shrugs.
Suit yourself. Don't say I didn't never try to help you.
Didn't ever.
That's what I was just thinking.
You ever camp here before, Amber? Sounded like you know the place.
Long time ago. I don't remember a whole lot. Just good at remembering names, I guess.
It's just funny though, because like that's an oddly common thing in New Mexico too. There is lots of places where people camp frequently, but I don't know, maybe I'm the weird one, but I just can't make myself want to camp at a place with no trees. For me, camping has always been associated with a forest. If you're not camping in a forest, you're not really camping. Like, you know what I mean? And maybe I'm wrong, but like in New Mexico, that's a thing. There's lots of like White Sands, for instance. A lot of people camp at White Sands, but White Sand is just that, just sand. There's no trees, it's just very white sand from whatever, it being blown up a lot of times by the military or whatever. But the point being is that there's no trees around, and I can never make myself camp there because it's so, like, or maybe it's not White Sands, maybe it was Elephant Butte. But regardless, there's a lot of, like, deserty places that people camp in this state, and it's a thing in Utah too, but I just can't make myself. I'm like, I need trees if I'm camping. If there's no trees, it's not camping. That's just how it is, man.
Useful skill to have.
Yeah. Used to be before we'd go anywhere. Gramps and I would research the place we were going. History and stuff like that.
See, now that's cool.
You sure learned a lot of useful stuff from him, huh?
Darn it, Amber! Amber! Stop talking about your grandfather. You know what it does to you.
Yep. Always wanted to make him proud. He used to say I was a real chip off the...
Oops. My words catch in my throat, not because I'm emotional, but because I just realized something. Remembered it, rather. Mariah and Joe know it too. Mine and Mariah's eyes lock, and she bolts up at my words. The other two look confused.
We're leaving.
It's like, whoa, that was sudden. Someone throw money down. Shell jumps on his shoulders. Mariah sprints for the door without paying, and I nearly yank Marina's arm out of its socket as we run to the exit. Other diners turn to watch us, but I barely notice them.
Amber, what the heck?
She's like, why? I was eating. Her voice is shaky from being jolted around.
I know where the treasure is.
I yell behind me as I turn to look and see the trio exit the restaurant close behind us. Joe's carrying Tess on his back.
I know where it is.
So does Mariah. I say it again to assure myself. We reach the motorhome seconds after Mariah and her crew reach theirs. I practically hurl Marina up into her spot before I leap into my own. Not even bothering to buckle up, I hurry towards the road. You guys ready for a super funny scene? Less than a minute are it's funny and like a oh my gosh they almost died kind of way. Anyway, see there you go. In that picture, it looks like a side ponytail. Like that makes more sense. That other one makes it look like it's in the back with their head being turned. I mean, it doesn't bother me, but I'm just saying. Anyway, less than a minute, we're already falling behind. I watch Mariah's taillights as she speeds up the road, horn blaring to scare away the cars unfortunate enough to be in her lane. I'm going as fast as I dare to, worried about the cops that could be lurking around one of the bends in the road. Yeah, you're gonna get arrested if you get caught doing this. But I can't let her out of my sights. There's no room to pass yet, but I have to watch for an opportunity. With one hand, Marina clutches the headrest bar of her seat. Then she leans over and past my face, nearly causing me to swerve from the shock.
What are you...
She grabs my seatbelt and buckles me in, then she does the same for herself. There you go. Good thinking.
Okay, now that we're at least not gonna die if you hit something.
Let me correct that. You're probably not gonna die if you hit something. Seatbelts are not infallible. They just reduce the chances of you dying. It's all just a percentage, all right? It's not, you're dead now that you're not. Like, it's not guaranteed. You still might hit something and die. It depends how fast you're going.
Can you tell me what exactly is happening?
She sounds a little frantic and a little curious.
Okay, so do you remember Balanced Rock?
It wasn't one of the places we visited earlier today, but it's one of the spots that's on posters and in lots of ads.
I think so, or at least hearing about it.
There used to be another really famous rock right next to it. Smaller, but a similar shape and everything. They called it Chip Off the Old Block.
What do you mean, used to be?
I was getting to that. A long time ago, like 50 years or something, it fell. Now you can't even tell it apart from the rest of the rocks on the ground.
50 years. So that was...
Her eyes go wide in understanding, a fact which I look away from Mariah's rear to take in.
So it was still standing when the miner came through.
Yeah, exactly. I'll bet you anything he hid the treasure between Balanced Rock and what used to be Chip.
I look over again to smile at her, only to see genuine admiration and awe in her face. Her eyes are wide and her mouth slightly open. Like always, I can't look at her for too long, or it starts to make me uncomfortable. Nothing I've said or done is that impressive. Even Mariah knew about Chip. But instead of singing my praises again, she just faces ahead with a little smile. And then her face crumples up.
Amber!
I see it.
A semi has begun pulling out onto the road ahead of us. There's no passing lane, so I can't get around him that way.
Damn it!
I tap the brakes since I'll have to stop and wait for him to get onto the highway. Ahead, I can still see Mariah, but just barely. A few of the cars between us have exited, but her lead has grown. And so I make a quick, reckless decision.
Hold on to something.
What are you?
I don't wait for her to finish her question, since she grabs onto her seat as she asks it. To answer, I yank the wheel to the left and into the other lane, even though it's a no-pass zone. Headlights far ahead are speeding towards us, maybe a quarter mile away. Getting closer. A concrete barrier prevents me from going any further to the left. I smash the gas pedal to the floor, putting all my weight on it. Marina begins to moan with dread at the oncoming car. It's a wordless sound, or maybe the start of my name. My heart is in my throat, and I can feel beads of sweat on my forehead. One slides down into my eye, but I can't wipe it away. We're even with the semi now, who seems to be stopping. He probably noticed me and is waiting for me to complete my illegal pass. The car ahead of us is close enough that I can see it in our headlight beams. It's a maroon SUV. They're braking as they approach. Smart move. But I'm still accelerating, going so fast that I couldn't stop in time even if I wanted to. Like a missile, we shoot forward. I'm at least double the speed limit now. We come even with the front of the semi, which is hardly rolling. The SUV has come to a complete stop, but there's barely any room between it and the semi now. And then suddenly, we're past the cab of the truck. I wrench the wheel to the right, hard right, throwing us back into our own lane. We zoom past the stopped SUV, who gives us a well-deserved horn blaring. The bassy sound of the semi's horn also booms behind us. But it doesn't matter because we're okay. We didn't die. A need to breathe hits me, and I realize I've been holding it in. I sigh, adrenaline still coursing through me.
Oh my god. Amber.
So, couple things there. You know, I've done some pretty, when I was younger, all right, when I was 18, and I was first got my license. I'd been driving before then. I had my permit, but it was the first time I had my full license and I could drive alone. And I did some pretty stupid things with friends of mine that I no longer associate with, but not the point. The point is I did some pretty stupid crap with some pretty stupid friends of mine. Now, the interesting thing is I have almost been in some pretty serious accidents by doing some pretty crazy crap. Now, I am not a bad driver, all right? These days, for many years now, I'm pretty chill on the road. I drive kind of like an old man. I'm just happy to be driving. That's just, it's my happy place these days. Like, I have music, I have AC, what more could you want? Anyway, but when I was younger, I was pretty stupid for about the first year of my driving. And I have almost done some pretty stupid things. And what my dad told me when I was young, and it stuck with me ever since, is never bet more than you're willing to lose. So when it came to driving ever since, I have driven really well because my thought is, sure, I could be more aggressive, sure, I could drive faster, but never bet more than you're willing to lose. Am I willing to get a ticket if I get caught? Am I willing to go to prison like these two? Am I willing to get in a car accident and die? Like, is it worth it? No, so slow down. This is a perfect example of that. You're like, never bet more than you're willing to lose. If their motorhome, if their RV had hit that SUV at double the speed limit, which I think in Moab is like 40 for parts of it, so they could be doing upwards of 80 or 90 or something, like, that's probably death, you know what I mean? If not for you, then probably for the SUV. So it's like, it's one of those things, never bet more than you're willing to lose. Just keep that in mind. Her voice cracks and she starts to laugh hysterically. Give me a minute, I gotta take a drink, my throat's all dry. Okay, I'm not gonna die now. I do too, laughing away the anxiety of the last half minute. It feels like much longer. And it's not entirely over yet.
Don't get too comfy.
Her hands shoot back to where she was hanging on.
Uh-oh.
Just ahead, Mariah still has a lead, but it's shrinking quickly. I wonder if she saw how I caught up. Jamming the gas pedal down again, I start to narrow the distance even more. She takes the exit for Arches just a few seconds ahead of me. We blaze through the entry point, flashing our passes at rangers who barely have time to check them. Even in the darkness, there are lots of people on the sides of the road. I wonder if anyone else has had the same realization we did about Chip. Mariah is starting to gain ground again, so I mash the accelerator further down, but her motorhome is newer than mine, and it's hard for me to keep up. If I'm gonna beat her there, I'll have to do it soon. If I'm gonna beat her there, I'll have to do it soon. There we go. I check to make sure that Marina's still holding on tight. She is. Just a few feet behind Mariah's RV, I illegally swing into the other lane yet again. Here we go. This is how people die. Anyway, this is even more risky because the way the road curves all over the canyon, an oncoming car would reach a bend and completely blindside us. There you go, see? Risking more than she's willing to lose. Hope that doesn't happen. By pushing the RV to its absolute limits, I'm able to break even with Mariah. Looking over, I can see a wild flare in her eyes, hair disheveled maybe? Anyway, her expression changes to one of shock when she notices us beside her. I relish the look of disbelief as I nudge the wheel to the right. Again, this was another stupid move. There's a god-awful scraping as the motorhome brushes against Mariah's. Her eyes, as well as Marina's, widen. Seconds after we pull apart, Mariah's vehicle lurches towards us. And again, there's a sound that makes me want to rip my ears off. I fight to keep control of the motorhome and stay on the road. Again, are you willing to damage your motorhome? Apparently. Bad decisions. Awestruck bystanders watch as we pass by, but I hardly register them. Still neck and neck, we continue towards Balanced Rock. Through insane luck or divine intervention or something, the road ahead is clear. I won't try and shove them off the road again because they are now steep drop-offs that could actually be fatal. But I do have to do something to gain an edge. Just arriving seconds before her isn't enough. A sign, visible for just a split second, informs us that there are 5 miles to Balanced Rock. What might have been an arrow for an exit has been scuffed to illegibility. There you go, nailed it. Maybe that's our chance. Up ahead, barely illuminated by a flickering lamp, the road splits in 2 directions. A sign in the middle is smashed and folded in on itself, probably the result of someone's reckless driving. One of these paths leads to Balanced Rock, but I don't know which. I'm willing to bet Mariah doesn't either, though. From Marina's window, I can see Mariah shoot me one final death glare before they rocket off down the exit. We stay on at the other branch, though I'm back in the proper lane now. Just gotta hope it's the right branch. As I start to calm down yet again, I realize my legs are shaking. Marina cranes around to watch Mariah's vehicle, which is quickly disappearing into the murk. Once it's fully out of sight, she turns back to me, her fate as white as her knuckles.
You okay?
Guilt stabs me. I may have seriously traumatized her, with 2 incidents within minutes of each other. After taking a deep breath, she unclenches her fists.
Can we never, ever do that again?
Yeah, you smashed the side of your RV, like you were doing like 90, like you could have died. Like that was really stupid.
That was insane. Super insane. Like, oh my god. I thought I was gonna die.
So did I. Sorry, drinking again, my throat's dry.
Wait. Did we die? Am I just imagining this now?
I don't think you could imagine stuff if you were dead, kid.
That's the kind of thing a dead person would say. Like in that one movie where it was all about that guy who could talk to dead people, except...
Fine. I'm 90% sure we're not dead then.
Okay. That's not
Oops,
bad.
sorry. I thought she was done. That's my bad. She's like, okay, 90%. That's what she said.
And being a ghost might be kind of cool too. You could spy on people without them ever knowing.
I'll keep that in mind if there's ever someone I want to haunt.
Our voices are shaky, even though our conversation isn't serious. I keep checking the rear view, expecting to see the headlights of Mariah's approaching vengeance, but so far we're in the clear. Each passing minute that we don't see the rock itself, though, makes me worry that we took the wrong turn. Right on the verge of turning around and tailing Mariah, another sign suddenly looms up ahead of us. We've reached Balanced Rock. I slow down as we approach the parking area. While not empty, there are far fewer people here than there were at Double Arch earlier today. A good number of them look like they might just be sightseers since they're standing around talking or looking at the stars instead of searching. Parking is easy since there are a lot of open spaces. When I stand up, my legs wobble. I stumble, grabbing Marina's shoulders for support. She smiles at me but doesn't say anything. No more jokes to crack. It's time to get serious. We grab our equipment and hurry out into the night air. Solid ground feels foreign after the rocketing motorhome. This must be what it feels like to return from a voyage at sea. Marina, the landlubber, doesn't seem to be having any trouble now that we're not barreling along the highway. The spring in her step has returned, and I worry that she's going to bang the metal detector against the ground as she half walks, half skips. Some of the other people watch us go, but no one follows or says anything. They probably assume we're just next in the line of failures. A line which must be pretty long, given how much trash and misplaced earth there is around here. Pangs of guilt remind me yet again of the broken brick at Canyon de Chelly, and I make my upteenth resolution to be more careful. Just ahead, Marina's come to a stop. Head tilted back, I can see she's admiring balanced rock. It's certainly an impressive view. Someday I'd like to take her back to all these places we've gone, but without the pressure of the treasure hunt rushing us, just taking in the sights. I slow my steps a little so I can keep watching her from behind. Maybe sensing me, she spins around and waves.
Hurry up!
Yelling, even though I'm close enough to hear her normal volume level. I pick up the pace once more.
So where was Chip?
Over there, to the right.
There's a large stone wall beside Balance Rock itself with a short slope between them.
It was right at the edge of that little hill.
So where that pile of rocks is now?
Yep, that's the spot.
You can't tell where there used to be anything there, but I've seen pictures in the atlases Gramps kept around or in the history books he liked to read. Compared to Balance Rock, Chip off the old block looked tiny, but it was actually a decent size. There's a pile of stones at the base that was probably Chip's remains. They're indistinguishable from the rest of the red rocks, though. Some are as big as my head or even bigger. It's hard to tell if anyone else has picked through here, but since there aren't many shovel marks or holes, I'm guessing not.
Where do we start?
I think for a moment.
First, let's get the easy stuff out of the way. You go check that side with the metal detector, and I'll check this one.
We sweep over the ground between the hill where Chip once stood and the massive stone wall beside it. Nothing.
Okay, that's pretty much what I expected.
I lean my metal detector against the wall and go back to the pile of rocks.
Just check over the places that I uncover, okay?
Marina nods, holding her detector at the ready. She reminds me of a surgeon about to perform an operation. I roll aside some of the rocks with my feet, but most are so big that I have to stoop down and use my hands. There are more of them than I thought, and I'm soon sweaty and sore.
Do you want any help?
Nah,
I'm panting.
just keep scanning.
She does so, dutifully retracing my steps, still nothing. After a couple of minutes, I stand up and take a swig from a water bottle. I'm glad I remembered to bring them this time. Marina sets down her metal detector to do the same.
Do you think Tess and them are okay?
Why wouldn't they be?
Don't you think Mariah's gonna flip out when she realizes she took the wrong turn?
Probably. That's her fault, though.
Not like you would have let her go down this side of the road.
Yeah, totally.
Hey, I did what I had to do.
Yeah, and damaged the RV. It's a good thing you have a box of gold.
Uh-huh. But you're never going to do that again, okay?
If we get the next treasure too, I won't have to.
When we get it, you meanie.
Right. When?
Only one more to go after this. One more frantic search, and then I drain my water bottle and crumple it up before shoving it into my pocket.
Break's over. Back to work.
I pop my back and resume moving rocks out of the way. I've been working from the outer edge of the rock pile inward since there's more concentrated in the center. Like a shadow, Marina continues to stick to me, going where I go. Nearly 10 minutes of uninterrupted shuffling pass. By now I'm expecting Mariah to have caught up or to get here soon. But she never arrives. Maybe she just gave up. Although, knowing Mariah, that's just wishful thinking. I've just finished moving a torso-sized rock when it happens. The metal detector begins to chirp bright and earnest. Marina and I exchange a look, and I nod.
I'll get the shovel.
It's leaning up against the wall by the second metal detector. Marina grabs it, starting back towards me, then doubles back to set her detector aside as well. I move to take the shovel from her, but she holds it away, shaking her head.
Nuh-uh. You moved all the rocks.
Yeah, but
She frowns at me, and I can tell this is an argument I won't win.
Okay. Be careful, though. Don't throw out your shoulder.
I know what I'm doing.
And she stabs at the ground like she's wielding a salad fork. It bounces off with a jolt.
You need to go at it with more of an angle, like you're trying to slide it into the ground.
I move behind her and adjust her arms a little. Her shoulders are damp with sweat, though I'm drenched with it. She tenses up when I first touch her, but relaxes almost immediately. It's enough to make me self-conscious, though, and I take a quick step back.
Sorry.
I'm mumbling.
Oh, no, you're fine. You just surprised me.
Ah, this awkward tension, it's working! Her voice is higher than usual.
It's okay. You should have it now.
Nodding, Marina jabs at the ground again. She scoops up a little bit of dirt and dumps it aside. Watching her dig is painful. Either the ground is hard or she's not strong enough to make fast progress. Whatever the reason, it's slow going, but she refuses my repeated offer to take over, so with my hands on my hips, I watch as the hole very slowly gets deeper. She reaches a depth of maybe a foot or so when the shovel thumps against something that isn't dirt. Our eyes instantly meet. I stoop down and brush a little bit of dirt away from the shovel blade. Sure enough, I can feel rough wood just under my fingertips.
Is it?
Yeah, it is.
Now she forces the shovel towards me.
I don't want to mess it up.
Okay, look out.
She steps back a couple of feet, but leans forward to watch. I scrape at the dirt beside the spot we hit, trying to find where the edges are. Once I reveal one corner, I start to dig off thin slices of dirt next to it. Soon the outline of the whole box is visible. I hear Marina suck in a sharp breath. My heart is pounding with the same cautious excitement I felt at Shiprock. It hardly feels real, and yet, well, there's only a 10% chance that I'm dead, and it isn't. I lift the box out of the ground with the blade of the shovel, and Marina plucks it off. It makes a similar rattling sound as she moves it. Her little squeak. But I hold up a dirty finger to my lips.
Not yet.
She's like, I want to see it. Looking back towards the parking lot, I can't tell if anyone has seen us. Seen us dig and find the treasure.
Don't say anything until we get back to the car.
She's a quivering leaf of excitement, but she manages to keep her mouth mostly shut for now. But not before hissing out an excited Amber. I'm not going to squeak like that, I can't do it. My voice is way too deep for that. I just smile, hoping that I look calm. Marina cradles the box in the crook of her arm like an infant, doing her best to keep it hidden from onlookers as we head back to the motorhome. She carries the shovel in her free hand while I have both metal detectors. I don't even notice the soreness in my arms. Not yet, you will tomorrow. Though it's not the first time, the excitement of sitting down in front of the sealed box of gold feels fresh and new. This one feels heavier than the last one, and it rattles less, like there's not as much empty space. Without being asked, Marina retrieves the screwdriver and hammer that I've been using to smash the locks. She sets them down in front of me, but I offer them to her.
Care to do the honors?
You sure?
But she takes them.
Yeah, why not?
Her face lights up with a look of happiness that's worth more to me than gold. If I'd known that it was that big a deal to her, I'd have let her do this back at Shiprock. It takes a couple of tries, but she bashes off the lock without even damaging the rest of the box. She looks to me to open it, but I shake my head.
Nope, that's all you.
But she shakes her head too.
We worked together to find it, so we'll open it together.
And she places her hand over mine, guiding it to the lid.
Ready?
Yeah.
She maneuvers my hand to flip the box open. It's full of dull-colored nuggets like a moldy fast food meal. That's a disgusting comparison. I take one out, bouncing into my palm and feeling the heavy softness that's almost familiar by now. Then I pass it to Marina, who treats it with her usual reverence. She gently sets it back into the box and then smiles.
We're pretty good at this whole treasure hunting thing, huh?
I shut the box and nod.
Yeah, we're not bad.
Hey, that's the second box of treasure they found. How exciting. Yeah, I bet you they're really going to want to sleep now. I bet you they're sore. Even when the box is closed, it radiates a heavy aura, one that's almost intimidating whenever I come near it. I place it in a drawer and seal it away, a sigh of relief following.
2 down, 1 to go.
Whoa, there's only one more piece left?
I think so. There's only some experts writing about historical relevance after the next entry.
Flopping down on the couch next to Marina, I take a sip of my coffee and flip to the final entry of the journal. Marina glosses over the page, a hazy look forming in her eyes as she soaks it in.
I can't believe it's almost over.
Yeah, it's weird that it hasn't even been that long.
The motorhome goes quiet, the buzz of the generator humming in the background.
Well, it's not over yet. We still gotta figure out where it is, and then there's still the search.
I think Marina's enthusiasm is becoming infectious. She simply nods, now just gazing into her lap.
Well, let's see what it says.
Alright, hang on, I gotta take a sip of water before I do my, old Gold Rush, self-important dude voice. Okay, here we go. After several days of travel, I believe I have finally arrived at my final destination. It is well known that I have an astute eye for locations. After all, this is how I found my previous bounty, so it is of no mistake that I easily found the perfect hiding place within this valley. I arrive on odd horseback at the glistering peak of noon. Looking for shelter from the coming night, I began noticing something different, something distinct. Crimson, all of it, shades lighter than pink and darker than blood. The color stained it all, from giant unmovable stones to the teeniest grains of sand. It was as if the land had absorbed the sun's heat and reflected it outwards. Even at sunset, the cave I traveled in emanated a bright red glow that speckled out from its opening. That night, as I laid on the ground, watching the flames of my fire shoot up to the cave's roof, I wondered if there were more places like this out in this unsettled land. During my travels on the trail, I was too preoccupied with preparations to observe the world around me. But now that I have achieved success, maybe I shall. It would be a shame if my superb observational skills went to waste. I was never certain about the other locations, but considering how many giant rocks, canyons, and arches are in this country, most of them were probably just a fluke. But this is unmistakable. The vivid and breathtaking imagery, the constant illusions of flames, and most importantly, the heat.
He hid it in the Valley of Fire.
Marina snaps back to attention, my conviction pulling her back from Marina Land.
Are you sure?
Positive. There's no other place it could be.
I've never even heard of that until this game, by the way.
Oh.
She might as well have shot down my momentum with an elephant gun.
Oh, that's all?
Yep.
No.
Ooh, what's that? A place always on fire?
That's so mocking. She dares her eyes to an unimpressed squint. If they could shoot lasers, they would be right now.
Amber, how dumb do you think I am?
I didn't say you were...
Always on fire, really?
Now I feel dumb for saying it.
Probably should.
Ouch. If her enthusiasm is infectious, then so is my unrelenting realism. It's corrupting her innocence.
By the way, what's the Valley of Fire?
Well, maybe not too infectious. Massaging my scalp, I shake my hair, hopefully creating enough new wrinkles in my brain that will help with explaining this.
Alright, so take a whole bunch of rock, sand, and dirt, okay?
Okay.
Now make most of it red.
That's it. I like the long pause. My explanation is met with a vacant stare.
I swear, it's a lot cooler than I'm making it out to be. It's just kind of hard to explain without pictures.
Don't worry, I believe. Sounds awesome. Where is it anyway?
A little ways into Nevada.
Oh, it probably explains why I've never heard of it. I've only been into Nevada like once or twice. Well, I guess Reno is in Nevada, isn't it? Yeah, I think Reno is in Nevada, so I guess I've been to Nevada a few times when I was super, super young, but you know.
Nevada?
Her knees bounce, jolting the table.
Are we even old enough to gamble?
There's more in Nevada than Vegas, dummy.
Barely. There's a lot of nothing in Nevada besides Vegas and Reno.
Still, isn't that pretty far?
That might work to our benefit. I'll need to check the map again, but I think we'll be passing by a place I want to check out.
Her voice brightens.
You actually want to go sightseeing?
I mean, you might as well. You have 2 out of 3 pieces of treasure. You're freaking loaded.
Don't act so surprised. It's not like I was gonna make a straight shot for California before I picked you up.
That's true.
Besides, I think you might like it.
She's doing it for you, Marina. Pay attention. Though her voice sounds like wait, back up. Though she does like virtually everything.
It's a place called Zion. It's a national park here in Utah. I hear it's a hell of a lot greener than the places we've been through. I know we're in a rush, so we won't stay very long.
She's going to burst from excitement, and I still can't resist messing with her. It's cute.
But I guess if you don't think we can afford the time...
I expect her to throw herself at me, hug me, squeeze me with all the energy and happiness she usually does it with. But she doesn't. Sitting perfectly still, Marina takes a single breath and gazes at me with a smile.
I've been surrounded by desert all my life. Seeing green for once would be nice.
You know, especially if she's from New Mexico and if she hasn't vacationed, like, I don't know if, because I don't remember if she said, like, she's never vacationed ever or she's never left the state. I know she's never left the state, But there was a lot of stuff that's in state that she's never heard of, like Shiprock. Like, there's like one of two things to do in New Mexico, so it's really surprising that she didn't hear of that, right? So it makes me wonder, like, that would be pretty jarring. If you were from, like, basically Carlsbad, there is no life in Carlsbad. It's dirt, and cave. Like, that's all that's there. So, you know, I mean, there's a few cool things near you, but not that many. So, like, seeing green would be, like, kind of a super big thing for her. You know what I mean?
I'd love to go with you, Amber.
An unsettling hollowness expands in my chest as I realize I don't know how to deal with a serious Marina.
Oh. Alright then.
She doesn't answer. Eyes now closed, arms folded in her lap, the empty, cooperative smile more forced than ever.
Well, there's still a lot of hours left in the day. I'm not sure if we'll make it in time to check into the campground, but we'll be close enough that we can do it in the morning if we leave now.
Marina nods. We scooch out of the booth and walk the 10 awkward steps to our seats. Strapping ourselves in, I switch on the ignition, the RV snorting into being. I reach for the cassette player, then look to Marina, already lost in her thoughts as she stares out the window. I don't have the heart. No. I don't have the courage to snap her out of it this time. Sighing, I bring my hand back without pressing play and pull the motorhome into drive. It's too bad, too. I think I'm really starting to like Marina's hugs. Let's have this tension now. Darn it, like, what happened? Like, it was fine, it was awkward. Like, whoa, like, I clearly have missed some sort of social cue because something's wrong. Anyway, hours and several cups of coffee later, we arrived at our destination. Or at least close enough to easily check in the morning, yet hidden enough to not get towed. Marina looks to the window, but her eyes drift back over to me, then mine to hers. For one drawn-out second, our eyes are interlocked, petrified by the other's stare. Then time continues. Our heads swing in the other direction so fast it takes my mind a few minutes to catch up. Or moments, not minutes. That's pretty slow. The side of her cheek I can still see is flushed. Glancing in the rearview mirror, I find mine are too. I grip the steering wheel, then cautiously, without turning my head, look back to Marina. She notices. Our eyes connect again. Blush, rinse, repeat. The past 4 hours have been excruciating, especially while fighting the urge to throw on music. I wanted to give Marina the space she needed to say what she has to, or give myself the space to blurt out what I need to say. It was just... Again, Marina looks, I jump, we blush. Never the right time. Darn it, you two! Like, man, my voice broke so bad there. That's awkward. Anyway, not the point. The point is, why? Like, it was going so well. You just found the second piece of the treasure. What more do you want out of life? And now it's super awkward because there's this obvious unspoken thing. They both are aware, subconsciously or otherwise, and it's super awkward now. Like, come on, guys. It's unnecessary. Like, pull it together. Anyway, sorry. Deciding I've had enough, I hop out of my seat and stretch. Marina follows. I wonder if I should be super, like, what's the word, shy and edit out my voice cracking. It might happen. You never know. Anyway, I grab my mug from the holder and drag myself across the scratchy carpet to the sink. A small jolt shocks my finger as I reach for the faucet. The mug slips from my hand and crashes onto the counter, splashing coffee everywhere.
Crap. Let me help.
Marina springs over and reaches for the kitchen rag, but I swat down her hand and grab it just as she does.
Don't worry.
Now we're forced to look directly at each other, but there's no blushing this time. I nod and pull away the rag as her fingers slide down the fabric.
I got this.
She stares down at the counter, the spilled coffee trickling onto the floor with a steady drip. You better do it quick, your coffee's gonna stain.
Oh.
Without another word, she slouches back to the couch.
If you give me a sec, I can set up the bed.
The bed's metal frame slams down with a loud clink that vibrates underneath my feet, followed by the couch cushion swishing past me, landing on the other side of the motorhome.
For ya.
Damn it. Whatever, I'll deal with this in the morning. I toss the rag onto the sink and head to my room, hesitating in front of the slider. Please don't let it end like this.
Amber.
There's a pause. Several times I hear a small gasp like she's about to speak, but they all just melt into sighs. Come on, you two.
Night.
My hand balls into a fist, my fingernails clawing deep into my skin. I step into the room and shut the slider behind me, immediately throwing my face onto the pillow. Guys, come on! Why? Like, it was going so well. I can feel my heart pounding as I roll onto my back. Lying there, twisted up in my sheet, it just keeps beating and never settling down. Managing to lift myself up on my elbows, I look at the picture next to the slider. The one with the vinyl sleeve. I still remember how his hand felt against my head, from the bony joints of his fingers to how their calluses massaged my scalp. For such a breezy old man, it's amazing to think just how strong and confident his love was. I let my head fall back against the bed and let my forearm rest my forearm over my face.
Oh man, what am I gonna do, Gramps?
Oh, come on! Why? Like, that's so unnecessary! Unnecessary drama is the worst kind. Like, just say it! Just fix it. Like, it's not hard, man. You get it out into the open and it'll be resolved. That's just how problems work. Get it into the open, talk about it, be open. Like, it's just that easy. And unfortunately, it doesn't get better for a little bit. It's like suffering personified for a little while, and I'm so sad because time-wise we're there. Like, I could only probably go a max of probably another 10 minutes, and we probably will, just to see how far we can get before this all falls apart. But yeah, it's pretty rough for a little bit, so don't worry, we'll get through it. Like, it's not gonna be fun, but we'll get through it. A brisk wind curls around me as I step out onto the patch of dirt that can barely be called a parking spot, and a place that can barely be called a campground. Misty curtains that settled over the nearby hills and mountains, and small specks of leftover morning dew occasionally drip on me from above. Bending down, I drop my backpack and pull on the tongue of my sorta new hiking boots. A little big, but they'll work. Considering these came from a stash of supplies we borrowed from Mariah in New Mexico, her feet must be freaking huge.
All set?
Marina is standing behind me, frowning at her own Velcro strap boots.
Just about. These boots are pretty big, though.
You think so? They feel a bit snug to me.
Sheesh, never mind about Mariah.
Hey, forget about the treasure. Let's just dress you up as Bigfoot and turn you in for a cash reward.
Got him! Awkward. The joke is awful and I know it. Still, Marina plays along, sticking her tongue out in a half-playful manner before she forces a tired smile. The whole time, she doesn't make eye contact. So much for lightening the mood. Last night's sudden tension is still present, even though we try to ignore it or pretend it isn't there, we both know. We both can't look at each other directly, and our conversation feels awkward and stilted. But we pretend everything's normal so we can, as we try to put on our best performances and reenact our usual routine.
So, how long is the hike?
The brochure said about 90 minutes each way. Might take even longer in this weather.
Oh.
I can feel the gulf between us. It's like yet another canyon, except I don't know how to cross this one.
The picture in the brochure was super pretty. Angel's Landing, right?
Now it's her turn to try and lighten the mood. I hate how we're both too afraid to just address the issue. I know! Like, I hate that too! It's funny you bring that up, Amber! But I'm just as guilty as she is here. I sigh and play along as best I can.
Yeah, it's nice. It's supposed to be the most scenic view in Zion.
That's what Gramps told me anyway. This hike was one of his favorites. Said the view is so lush that there's so many trees and plants that he discovered several new shades of green up there. It was one of the spots that he was most looking forward to visiting with me. I glance back up at the mountains. The mist doesn't look like it will clear anytime soon. In fact, it seems to be swallowing up more of the landscape. It's got Marina's attention too. She stares up as if picking out specific details in the fog. While she's distracted, I let my gaze rove over her again, guiltily, like I'm sneaking glances, but I don't care. Admiring the sweep of her shoulders down into her collarbone and the rest of the curves of her body. I let myself examine her like I did when we first met, and like I've been consciously abstaining from. Looking her over like it doesn't matter if she catches me anymore. She doesn't though. I may as well be invisible to her right now while she studies the mountaintops. And I want her to pay attention to me. She's wearing her usual boutique brand clothes. Their cute frilliness is just as perfect as ever for Marina, but they clash with the clunkiness of the ugly brown boots.
You sure you want to wear that? They might just get in the way.
She gasps, almost offended by the suggestion that she wears anything else.
But my skirt is so comfy. Aren't you supposed to wear comfy clothes on hikes? Besides, with a name like Angel's Landing, it has to be pretty relaxing.
She gives me a big, honest smile, tipping her head to the hills. It's the first real smile I've seen from her all day.
So, what are we waiting for? Let's go.
I melt, letting her skewed reasoning fall to the wayside just this once. Warm fuzzies, and a goofy grin take over my dour mood just for a moment.
Alright, but no whining if they end up being a problem.
Slinging the backpack over my shoulder, we head for the shuttle that leads to the trail. Logs and a stone fire pit adorn the side of each lot that we pass. Maybe when we get back to the camp store and pick up some supplies to roast marshmallows. I think she'd like that. Oh, kids, why? Why? Like, why? It's not good. It's not good, all right? And it's not going to get better for a little bit. But stick with me. We're going to survive. I know our time is long, but I'm going to keep pushing. I know where we're going to stop for the day, and I think time-wise it'll be all right. But I want to stop right as things are about to get better. It's not that far away. Marina's heavy breathing guides me as we slog our way uphill, the previous light mist having now morphed into a thick and dreary fog. I cling to the chained railing as I stumble my way up the trail of rocks. It's the only protection from the sheer drop-off beside us. All it would take is one slip for me to take a nosedive into the valley below, and I wouldn't even see it coming. Turns out the fluffy and enticing name Angel's Landing doesn't come with the relaxing stroll Marina was hoping for. This feels more like a ghastly death march. My sweat-drenched legs feel like pudding under the anchor that is a measly 5-pound backpack. No one else on the shuttle even bothered to attempt the hike alongside us. I attempt to form words between pained breaths, feeling like a rock is being smashed into my lungs with each step.
We should turn back. Can't see Jack.
Hey, rhyming scheme.
It's not safe up here.
What?
She sounds like she's doing about as well as me, echoing the same lung-puncturing gasps.
But we're so close. There's no way we're not almost there.
We stop, collapsing against our knees as we try to catch our breath.
Not gonna mean a lot if we end up falling off a cliff.
You know, what's so funny is that everyone pronounces things, like, anytime I've ever heard anyone pronounce it, like, Zion, it's, like, super overly pronounced. I've only ever heard it pronounced as Zion. Like, used to say it quickly, Zion. Like, not Zion. Like, it sounds super, like, they did the same thing. Isn't that what they call, like, a city in the Matrix or something? Like, Zion? And it's, like, it sounds so, like, so derpy and weird. It's, like, I'm always gonna pronounce it Zion, but whatever.
I thought you were the one who wanted to do this so bad.
Every couple of words are punctuated by her gasping for breath.
Yeah, but...
Amber, please, let's keep going.
Her voice is a whimper, fragile and meek. I fold.
Okay.
Marina has a way of making me shut up when she wants to, whether she knows it or not. Today, it doesn't make a difference. I'm not going to be the one who makes things worse. She's wrong about one thing, though. I wasn't the one who wanted to hike up here. Gramps was. It gets easier after our break. The trail begins to plateau, and the steepness evens out, fading behind us until the return trip.
I think we're already here. See? What did I tell you?
Marina darts ahead, disappearing into the fog so that she can look at the mythical view that the brochure and I have preached to her and Gramps to me. But if my suspicions are right, this weather and the view aren't going to be very compatible. Following behind, I step out of the cloudy murk and into an area that offers only slightly more visibility. Okay, it's going to get bad for a minute, everybody, but you know, brace with me, all right? We're almost through. Marina stands still on the center of the cliff, her hand clutched to her heart. What should have been a bird's eye view of Zion is nothing but a sea of fog. The lush greenery and full valleys are invisible. Only a green overgrown bushes and some rocky points peek out above the clouds. I was expecting it, but the sight itself really is numbing. The hollowness in my stomach, the one I've gotten so used to feeling, rears its head once again, only intensified by Marina's silence, any expression shrouded by her bangs as she tilts her head down.
Sorry.
Gently, she shakes her head.
Don't worry about it. It's not your fault. You tried to warn me.
Marina.
But I don't know what to say. I'm disappointed, too. There was a lot of places Gramps always talked about visiting. After we settle down and kick back for a few years. After I finish repairing the RV. After I get better. This place came up more than others, though. Not just Zion, but the landing. Kept saying that we were going to hike up there, have a picnic, maybe watch the sun come up. A slight smile comes to my face as I think about him trying to make that hike. I'd have liked to see the geezer try. While I'm not big enough sap to try and make all of my and Gramps' plans happen now, it would have been nice to see the view. With Gramps, Marina, and everything that's happened over the past month, it just seems fitting to make the trip. Angel's Landing. I glanced back to Marina, the hand that was clutched to her chest now stretched outwards, grasping at the empty air. A slight breeze blows through, ruffling her hair. She looks beautiful. She looks angelic. I didn't go to church much as a kid, but she looks like someone I would see on a stained glass window, right next to a rendition of Calvary or Skull Hill. It's frustrating to have come this far for nothing. But is it because of the fog? Because of Gramps? Or because of Marina? My teeth grit, grinding against each other for what feels like an unimaginable weight.
Come on, let's go.
I turn around and begin down the slope. There's nothing else we're seeing up here. Marina doesn't follow. No spirited footsteps trailing behind me. No speeding bullet blazing ahead.
Marina, we're going.
See, now this right here, this makes it worse. Like, don't tell me this isn't pretty. Like clouds beneath mountains. Like, that's still gorgeous. Like, I feel like that, I don't know. Yes, it's not green, but you could come back. Like, I don't know. Like, it's not as bad as all that. Like, this is all self-imposed suffering, and it's unnecessary. That's what bugs the crap out of me. It's so unnecessary. You talk about your problem, enjoy the view that you have, like, and go find other cool things to see, and you'll come back and find greenery. Like, it's not over. It comes out with more bite than I intended, but I don't care. I just want to get out of here now. Marina is hesitant to answer, but eventually manages to spit it out, sounding more like a question than an actual statement.
I don't want to.
What?
I don't want to leave. Not yet, anyway.
Annoyed, I turn back to her for an explanation, only to be greeted by a pleading look instead.
I'm used to it by now. I know I am. But do you think we could wait a little longer? Just to see if the fog clears.
I don't know what it is. I respond with a blank stare. It's like she's not even talking to me.
Don't be stupid.
I start back down the hill, not bothering to wait for Marina this time.
It's past noon. If it hasn't cleared by now, then it's not going to anytime soon.
So much for not making things worse. Yeah, well done, Amber. Well frickin' done. That was on you. You could have made it better. It didn't have to be that bad. Like, she could have made it better. They could have still enjoyed the view. She could have relented and stayed. They could have just talked about it. But no. Suffering is way better. Let's make things way more enjoyable by being super, super awkward. Like, why? Why? Like, am I just the only one that's super bothered right now? Like, come on. That's ridiculous. Anyway, sorry. My like disbelief aside, let's press on a little bit more. Like, maybe we'll give it like 3 minutes. I nudge the fire with a stick. It doesn't do any good though, as the logs just tumble on top of each other, smothering the already pitiful flame. For a moment, our lot is only lit by the few remaining embers in the pit. Sighing, I grab the bottle of lighter fluid and squirt it into the ashes. An artificial flame roars into existence, then peters to the size of a pathetic candle flicker just as quickly. I plunge the stick back into the fire and scrape cinders from the glowing wood. Eventually, a flame catches on a charred log and grows until the pit is blazing once again.
Aha! About damn time.
The joy is exclusive to me, however, as Marina stays silent, staring into the fire.
Want another s'more?
She bounces back to life.
Oh my god, yes, please.
She catches herself and switches back to broodiness.
I mean, sure, I guess.
I roll my eyes, but can't help smiling on the inside. No matter how hard she tries, she's still the same Marina she's always been. I grab a marshmallow and stick it on the end of a bent coat hanger before lending it to her. Without another word, she plops it into the fire. Meanwhile, my eyes are drawn to the neglected bag of hot dogs lying beside the chocolate and graham crackers, unopened and ignored. I bought them because I thought Marina would like the variety, but I should have known that she would only go after the marshmallows. She's been devouring them. She opened the bag when we left the store, and it was half empty by the time we got back to the campsite. She clung to the bag like a security blanket the whole way. It's a miracle there are even any left. Shrugging, I take one of the hot dogs out of the bag and impale it on my coat hanger, then put it in the fire next to Marina's. Even when we're this close to each other, there's still an air of tension. The one that's pervaded since we left Arches. Neither of us have addressed it, but the inevitability of the treasure, the thick uneasiness that hangs over us, is suppressed, but it's definitely there. But it's gotten better since we left Angel's Landing. The snacks were a peace offering of sorts, I guess. Although I was pleasantly surprised that she sat so close to me, even with the 3 other logs around the fire pit. I fix my gaze on the flames. The dog is slimy and oozing with condensation that drips and sizzles in the ashes.
Oh god, it's on fire! It's on fire!
She's so adorable. I can't take it. Marina's coat hanger whooshes over me like a spastic comet, the marshmallow now a smoldering ball of inferno.
Here, give it to me.
But it's on fire, Amber! Fire!
I can see that. Just give it.
She panics, squirming as her precious marshmallow burns before her very eyes.
Alright, just don't hurt yourself, please.
Frantically, she passes me the wire, biting her nails as I try to blow it out. Soon the fire clears. The marshmallow, once white and fluffy, is now black and charred.
Aw, now it's ruined.
It's no big deal. You can still eat it.
Preparing the s'more, I break apart the chocolate and cracker, then squish the marshmallow between them.
Ew, gross. But it's all black and stuff.
Hey, don't knock it till you try it. Honestly, I think I might prefer it burned.
My cousins and I used to light them on fire just for fun. Just like, burn it, yeah!
That's so... ew.
Too real. She gives a nervous laugh.
Here, just try it.
Marina stares at the s'more and gulps.
Fine, but only because you asked.
Closing her eyes, she opens her mouth wide. Wide open. This time, it's my turn to gulp. I shuffle back. Subtly trying to avoid eye contact, and once again failing, I pop the s'more into her mouth and let out a restful sigh. Like bubblegum, she munches on it in the corner of her mouth, intently trying to dissect the flavor in her own cute way.
So...
Her eyes grow wide with shock.
It's good.
right? Doesn't it give it a nice smoky flavor?
It's a little bitter at first, but the marshmallow gets really crunchy. So good.
I told you so. You just gotta give these things a shot.
I can't believe I had my first s'more and found a way to make it better in the same day. I feel like that would take most people like a bajillion years to figure out. But it only took me one night because I got you, Amber.
Godsmacked, dumbfounded, they're both stupid fancy words, but I think they work. They're trying to figure out this thing sitting beside me.
Amber?
You're kidding me.
What?
Your first s'more?
Yeah, she's like, wait, back up.
Well, I've seen people eat them on TV and stuff before, but...
You have never ever had a s'more in your entire life.
Now that I think about it...
That confirms
Oops,
it.
sorry, I skipped again, my bad.
Huh? Confirms what?
You're an alien. The government has just been keeping you hidden all this time. That's why I met you near Roswell. It's the only explanation.
I am not. If I were an alien, then why do I look human?
That's just a flesh suit. A disguise so you can blend
Yeah,
in.
haven't you seen Men in Black?
That's mean. You can't just buy these good looks at the costume store.
What's your sector ID? Is this your first time away from your home planet?
Amber, stop. It's not my fault.
Her face puffs out, and I have to resist the urge to poke and deflate it. If I don't quit, she may actually start pouting.
I'm sorry, I'll stop.
I'm tempted to squeeze one more joke out, but decide against it as I try to hold back the snicker under my breath.
I think I like you better when you're serious.
She crosses her arms, turning away as she closes her eyes to block me out. Then, with a grin, one eye open. We both burst out laughing. Since the hike, the fog has climbed down the hill, enveloping the campground. Even here, it's carved out a small pocket, the breezy chill surrounding us as we take in the warm glow of the fire. It feels nice.
But for real, I still can't believe this is your first time leaving home.
She settles down a bit and places her hands in her lap, teetering side to side as she looks to the sky, even though there's nothing to look at but mist.
Yeah, sometimes I have trouble believing it too. Since there's so many of us, I guess Mom and Dad could never afford to take us anywhere.
That's what I thought. If her family's as big as she says, it's not like they could have just packed up and traveled like me and Gramps.
You said you have 9 brothers and sisters, right?
Yep, there's 9 of us, plus Mom and Dad, so 11 altogether.
Jesus.
Right? Everyone says our house is pretty big, but it's always been so cramped that I've never been able to tell. I've never even had my own room. I've always had to share one with some of my sisters. My older brother shared too, until one of them went off to college.
Is that the same brother whose car got torn apart by Mariah?
She laughs guiltily.
Yeah, he always called it his love wagon.
Oh, you don't want to know why.
If that thing was a love wagon, then my motorhome is a love palace.
Ooh, that's a good name for it.
Don't even start.
Anyway, he said he wanted to get a new one when he got to Salt Lake City, so I don't think he'll be too angry.
Hold on, that's in Utah too. Why didn't you tell me? The detour would have been a pain in the ass. But if you wanted to visit him, I wouldn't have minded the extra miles. Not if it was for you.
Marina does a double take, and I realize I've given too much away.
You'd have to pay for gas, though.
Marina blinks and smiles, crisis averted.
Nah, it's okay. I want to do this without my family's help. Besides, it's only a community college.
Your brother moved from New Mexico to Utah so he could attend a community college?
Uh-huh. He sends me a gift every month. Last month, it was a top hat. I put it right on top of the desk in my room.
She pauses for a moment.
Mine and my sister's room, I mean.
Your family sounds about as weird as you.
Really? Huh. Yeah, I guess we are.
She beams, wearing the title of weird like a badge of honor.
That's not a good thing. Actually, maybe it is.
I like it. Besides, Dad keeps us all in line. He's a defense lawyer, super straight-laced. You remind me of him, actually. He likes everything nice and orderly, which is bad for him because he's surrounded by us, but...
She talks for a long time, chattering and laughing about her family, the smile never leaving her face. I almost get lost in it. I almost want to. For the precious minutes that she speaks, I forget the tension that shadowed us since Arches, and I could believe it was never there. I love that about Marina. Even when we're wet with rain, or humoring truck drivers, or racing a lunatic down the highway, she never hesitates to smile. For her, it's always poised on the brim, waiting to shine through. I could listen all night, but she trails off only a short time later.
I'm sorry. This must be boring, right?
Nah, I can tell you love him a lot. It was always just me and Gramps. So it's sorta interesting to see how other families work.
The lot falls silent, save for the crackling flames. I brace myself for what I know is coming.
Hey, Amber? What happened to your mom and dad?
I stare into the fire. It pops, casting of delicate embers that fall and vanish in the dirt.
I'm sorry. That was too personal.
No, it's fine. They're both around, I think. Only met Dad once a long time ago. Me and Ma don't get along very well. Haven't spoken to her since I was 16. Last I heard, she was living in some trailer park in Ohio.
Is that why you lived with your grandpa?
Sorta. Ma always had her... issues. So the court said Gramps could take care of me when I was a baby.
I stifle a laugh.
Not that it did any good. The geezer had the bright idea to haul me around the Midwest and East Coast for half my life.
He took care of you all by himself? He must have been amazing.
Try again. He was an old hippie who was stuck in the 70s and spent most of his time listening to weird music.
Sounds just like you.
Hey, watch it. If anything, he was more like you. I was always cleaning up his messes, even as a little girl, even near the...
Amber, again! I choke down a growing lump in my throat.
Even near the end.
Amber,
It was always just the two of us, though. Us, or any random old friend he wanted to see. Even when he decided to settle down in Colorado, it was just us. People would come and go, but it was always us. And I was there for all of it. I was there for every single appointment. I was there at the hospital, and I was there at the funeral. Ma didn't even bother to come to that, but I was there. And he was always there too.
You really miss him, huh?
My voice lowers to a whisper, raspy and dry.
Yeah.
Oh, it hurts. It hurts, people. Do you feel the pain? Because I certainly do. All right. Something slumps against my shoulder. Glancing down, I discover Marina's head resting against me.
What are you doing?
Nothing.
She looks up at me.
Want me to stop?
No, keep doing it.
Okay.
We should turn in soon. We have a big day ahead of us.
Yeah, maybe.
We sit in silence for a little while, or maybe it's a long time. I can't tell. It's a nice silence, though. A comfortable one. Finally. Hey, there you go, people. We had to push through a little bit, longer than I wanted to go, to be perfectly honest. But it was worth it because we had to get that fixed. Okay, that I could not make us pause right there. like right when things fell apart. Like it's rough, all right? Anyway, it was a little hard, but it's looking up. It's getting a little bit better, okay? There's gonna be, I don't remember how many more there are, but I know that there's one super bad patch that I know that there's gonna be some editing done, and I will do it for you because I love you guys. But a lot of it, I mean, there is like some like ups and downs as far as the drama, now that we're at this point is concerned, but only one of them I know is super not good. The rest of them are tolerable, but one of them is super painful. Anyway, the point is, we made it really far today. We went super long time, but it's fine. I don't even care. Anyway, and I am very happy with how far we are. I don't know how much longer we have left. I feel like this last slew is kind of fast, so I'm thinking it'll probably be another episode or two, and that'll probably be it. But because yeah, I feel like we are getting pretty close, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, we're getting pretty close, I feel like. So, you know, that's good news. And yeah, I'm very excited. So I'm going to take a small little break and I'm going to have some food. And then I'm going to record Fallout 4. So if you're interested in Fallout, I would recommend go checking that out, man. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the content today. And we will talk to you guys later.